well, that's Jimmy Butler right there. Yeah, like his last 15 games or so, he's just been off the charts. But it's the toughness that he brings on every possession, you know. Special player.
How about the lift that Jamal gets you off the bench?
Jamal was terrific. Yeah, he played a great game. And we were down going into the fourth. Made a lot of tough plays, big shots. That really got us going.
Do you have to pick your poison with the two guys outside and then Nurkic inside? It seemed like you were determined to stop the guards early, and then you had to readjust.
Yeah, and you know they're very unselfish, you know, and they play well off each other. Nurkic is very skilled, but the guy who probably gets lost a little bit for them, I'm sure he doesn't with you know the coach and his teammates, is Evan Turner. He just makes a lot of big basketball plays, and they're a tough team. Their defense is vastly improved. You know, they're good, very good.
One game after you had a disappointing loss, you ended up double-digit lead. Now again on the fourth, you respond and come up with a win. How important is it to bounce back to end this one?
Yeah, and we just talked about it. You know, there's going to be a lot of close games in this league. When you think about it, we lost the Philly game on the last possession. We lost the Phoenix game on a last possession. Tonight we won on a last possession. And so just understanding how important everything is, every day, every timeout, every play. Because oftentimes these games, you know, when you look at scoring margin, I mentioned this earlier, there's a lot of teams that are very close. So every night you got to be ready to fight and scratch and win, and you got to make winning plays. And so I like the toughness that we had. We didn't go away. You know, things weren't going well, and we found a way to win in the end. Though, you know, the fourth quarter was the one time I thought we started to play defense.
Tommy, they shot 55%, but you were limited to 1-3 in the second half. How did you kind of?
Yeah, well, I thought we challenged some shots better. You know, I thought in the fourth quarter they had 22, so that's, you know, that was our best quarter. But they put a lot of pressure on you all the time, and they move the ball well side to side, so your shifts have to be clean. I thought we did a better job of moving on the flight of the ball, and that's important.
What led to the improved defense? Was it strategic or just getting
it's always when you think about it, it's really the degree in which you do things. Well, the degree of how hard, the degree of how together, and the degree of how smart. So sometimes it's, you know, you think you're there and you're not. So, you know, at halftime we watched, you know, some clips from the first half, and, you know, we weren't closing the way that we needed to. Aminu's on fire right now from three, and we're challenging the shot, you know, as if he weren't a good shooter, and you can't do that. He's a vastly improved player. He shoots the ball great. They take good shots, and you know you have to do more than one thing when you're trying to guard them.
The fourth quarter has not been good for you guys for most of the year. Did you just get a sense that there was something different?
Well, I don't agree with that notion, because when you look at the stats over the last 10 or 12 games, they are pretty good.
In the fourth quarter?
Yes.
You had talked about, though, that these guys have to understand the intensity of the court. Do you think that's clicking in?
I'm sorry?
You talked about how these guys have to understand the intensity of the fourth quarter, at least early in the season.
Yeah, like I mentioned, all these games are going to be close. You got to make tough plays, and that's, you know, when you look at every fourth quarter, the intensity level's different. There's a physicality to it that's different, and you have to understand that. And the game's called differently. So putting all that together, and you have to read what they're trying to do, and then you have to play defense.
Coach Crawford's had nights like this throughout his career where he gets hot and just become a scoring machine. I mean, when did you know today? When did you get the feeling that this was one of those nights for you?
Early on, he played well in the first half. You know, he made shots. So, And with Jamal, it's, it doesn't matter how it's really going. He hits a couple shots, that could be all he needs to get going. So, just he's done it for a long time.
Are Wiggins and Towns getting better on defense as the season progresses?
Well, Andrew made a big play yeah, that was big. So, to answer the question, there are times where they've shown improvement, but there has to be a consistency to it. And so the NBA is a lot different than college, and we have to understand that. There's a physicality to this, there's a talent level to it, and you can't take plays off, or you can't play without great intensity all the time. The players are too good. And so, and you see that with, our opponents, the way in which they guard Carl and Andrew. They rarely can catch the ball without it being contested, and there's a physicality to the way they're being guarded as well. So we have to do the same thing to our opponents. And so in college, you can close shorter. There's usually, two real good shooters, and there might be, two okay shooters and probably one non-shooter for the most part. So it's different in the pros. There's you guys see it every night. It's you got bigs, you got 7-footers who are shooting threes, and so how you close out is critical.
How much of that is experience and how much of that is
no, and you're hitting on something. A big part of the learning part is the experience. You can drill it in practice. You can do it there, and you're trying to get an intensity level in practice that's close to a game, but it never gets there. And then it's the trial and error part of learning how to do it in a game. Particularly, you're seeing 2 or 3 actions before the actual closeout occurs. And so if you're not down in your stance, now you lose a step by not being down in your stance. If you're not reading the ball correctly, if you're not moving on the flight of the ball, you're going to be a step or 2 off. And so you can't do that. The players are too good. And, we're seeing a lot of different variations of multiple pick and rolls, and everything has to be tied together, and being down, being ready. And, if you let an NBA player cut freely, they'll get in rhythm, and they're going to bury shots on you. So when they move, there has to be contact without fouling. So body position's important.
Jimmy, I think plus 15 tonight, he did just a little bit of everything. But just how valuable has he been to this team's success?
Well, he's changed everything for us. He and Taj where their leadership, the things they do on the floor. But Jimmy is, as good as Jimmy is offensively, he's that good defensively. And every time there's a tough play, rebound in traffic, guards every position. He's covering up for a lot of guys. So, I mean, he's a special player, and he's having a terrific year.
When Wiggins maybe doesn't have the night that he wants to offensively, how much does it help having a guy like Jamal Crawford who can sort of act as a leader and fill the void?
Well, Jamal is, a scorer, and again, he's got to get a rhythm and do it every night. But I think the biggest thing is Jimmy with Andrew, understanding, there's a lot of nights Jimmy his defense is what gets him going. Like you see oftentimes Jimmy will get, a couple steals, a block shot, get into the open floor. And like he started off the game tonight, he had 10 points, right at the beginning. And a lot of it is he gets off his defense, and that, energizes the team. And so understanding how important defense is, it has to become critical for everybody. And I think Portland's they're a good example of it. They've gone to a completely different level because of their defense. They're winning on the road now, and they're playing tough teams, and they're playing well against them. And they've always been a good offensive team, but now they've put the defense to go along with it. And I thought we saw the same thing when you study Golden State. They went through the same steps. Golden State was a very good 50-win team, very good offensively, And then when they made their commitment to defense, they went to an entirely different level, and hence the championships.